Okay, we got some drama in the sky going on. So let's get into it. Not only do we have Venus retrograde, which entered today back into Leo and it's gone down to a point of Ashleisha, like I had mentioned in the monthly readings. So we have that going on. Then we have Saturn also opposite, also being retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. And then we have Mars and Mercury together in the sign of Leo. And after the 23rd, Mr. Mercury or Mrs. Mercury, or whatever you want to call it, because Mercury doesn't really have a gender. It's one of the only planets that don't have gender. But anyways, it's going retrograde, and it's going to be retrograde there for a while. So it's gonna be for a while where we are going to have Mercury retrograde opposite Saturn. So let's see what this is going to mean for all of us. Now, because it's Mercury retrograde, it's going to be in the sign of Leo, right? And it's going to be in the sign of Leo, which rules over theatrics, which rules over performing. Mercury is the prince of the zodiac. Right now, Mercury is actually in a place where when I'm doing this video, when you're watching it, it's in a position where it gets debilitated, not debilitated, where it gets combust, which means the sun is kind of like diminishing the power of Mercury. So we're all feeling like a little bit bogged down along with this Venus retrograde and then Mercury being right opposite Saturn right now, sitting with Mars. Even though we have all this drive and all this energy to get to things done, at the same time, we're feeling a little bit like lazy or procrastinating to some extent. Now, when Mercury goes retrograde on the 16th of September, Sun when Mercury goes retrograde on the 23rd of August, because it's going to be in Leo until September 30th. Mercury's going to be in Leo for a really long time, which is very unheard of, given that Mercury is such a fast moving planet. You have to look to see what houses Mercury is ruling over. Like, for instance, for Aries, it rules over the 3rd and 6th house. This is what's going to be impacted the most. Those are the houses that it rules. And Mercury goes retrograde on the 23rd, and it's going to stay there retrograde until September 16th. So Venus will go direct on the 4th, but Mercury will remain retrograde until the 16th. When any planet goes retrograde, its strength maximizes. Mercury deals with technology. It deals with errors in communication. So we're going to have to watch very carefully, like the things that we say, how we say it, especially in the areas where Mercury rules for us, depending on our chart. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So let's get into it. Okay, so rising in Aries moon. So this Mercury retrograde is going to be happening in your 5th house of relationships, and Mercury rules over your 3rd house of courage and 6th house of daily activities, daily work, as well as health and wellness. So this Mercury retrograde is going to be like sort of this feeling of wanting to explode creatively, wanting to receive recognition in your work and in your everyday life, or wanting to see results in your health and wellness and routine, but not having the enough willpower or enough ability to communicate that or to receive it. So you have to make sure that during this Mercury retrograde, you're able to communicate to your loved ones, in your relationships, in your work environment, and in your everyday life, things properly. So double checking and making sure that you're not saying things just to receive recognition, that you're not saying things that you don't mean, that you can't back up with facts or back up with tangible results. So it's very important that you double check everything you say, and you're not saying things that are just ego driven, because this can happen at this time because 3rd house deals with our willpower. It deals with our strength and how we have the courage to initiate things, how we communicate things. And then so Mercury retrograde affects that. It impacts your willpower. It's also ruling over your 6th house of health and wellness. So maybe double checking something around your routine and your health and your work environment that maybe you overlooked in the past might be important at this time during the retrograde season, all the way until possibly like around September 16th. Around September 16th. This could be a time when, like, past relationships come back into your life, or you think about picking a hobby back up that you had in the past, and then this hobby, you want to make something out of it, but then you're feeling like your courage is being stifled, sorry, it's being stifled. English is my second language. So it's like you want to take the courage into doing these things, but at the same time you feel like there's something that you need to double check, or you need to go back on, something like that. Aries rising and moon, since this Mercury retrograde is happening in your fifth house, there could be something that you're picking up, like a hobby from the past, that you're re-picking up to continue, or there's something about your learning and your friendships that are going to really be highlighted at this time. This could be a time when you're meeting someone very powerful from the past that's going to help you unlock that's going to really test your willpower, that's going to really test your sense of your willpower and your sense of courage, as well as your day-to-day life. This could be a time when you're feeling a little bit lazy, like not wanting to like get things done, like not being able to take a head start, and like you're procrastinating a little bit when it comes to your daily routine. And so you're wanting to be more stable in your daily routine, but at the same time, there's something that's like holding you back. So this is something that they're gonna be struggling with this entire Mercury retrograde. In like creative fields, or if you work in like fields that deal with you having to speak up, use your voice, and use your creativity, I would say this is a time when you should be very cautious, and you should really take inventory as to what things you say, what you don't say. Just be cautious with that, because Mercury, when it goes retrograde, it tends to, not only mess up our speech and what we communicate, but it's ruling pivotal houses for you that deal with your courage and your communication. So your courage right now is it's going to be a little bit impacted by this retrograde. Your courage, your sense of willpower, as well as your like health routine and your sense of creativity. So there could be some, like I mentioned earlier, past lovers that come back into your life, or it could just be a time when you're reflecting as to how you would handle past relationships, or as to how you would handle love and relationships altogether. This can even mean that you're reevaluating during the retrograde what type of routine works best for you, and what kind of like health and wellness routine you need to have in order to be your healthiest self and your healthiest version. This can even mean like what kind of health regimen, what kind of like day-to-day life, how you're inspired in your day-to-day life, and how you take on your work routine and your everyday life. Because right now you're having to like revisit that because you're feeling uninspired, or something's just not clicking. So you're revisiting and making changes during the retrograde. Off to the next sign, which is Taurus. New moons, Mercury, who rules over your second house of family and finances, and fifth house of romance and relationship and children, and it's going to be retrograding in your fourth house of home. So there's something from the past that deals with your home life and your sense of happiness and your family and your love and your creativity is going to need some revising. Maybe something around your home environment, or maybe something around your family life, your sense of security, that needs to be revised at this time, that you're having to look back on or revisit, or even like your money, your stability, your security, as well as your relationships and your home environment. Maybe something from the past in your home environment now comes back up for you to deal with it. I would say be careful with the words that you speak, because sometimes things that you speak might get a little bit, people might misinterpret what you're trying to say. Or even like in your fourth house of home, maybe this is a time when a lot of you in the past wanted to move homes. This is a time when you're really looking into being able to move, being able to relocate, or just feeling happier in your own home environment and with your loved ones. Especially if you have children, this is a time when your children might revert so to some old behaviors, or your children, or you might be thinking more about children than usual, than about your children. Or if you work in creative fields, this is a time when you're revisiting the way that you handle your creativity, the way that you handle your learning, the way that you handle your home life, and how you feel the most at home. For some of you, this could be issues that come up in your home environment, like, things breaking down, or costs going up, or even like past loved ones coming back into your life, like past lovers, or even this could mean for some of you revisiting your financial stability, revisiting your stability within your home environment, within your home, and as it pertains to your loved ones and your love relationships. It's a time when you're reevaluating, like, what do I need out of my relationships to feel happier? What do I want out of my romantic partner in order for me to feel fulfilled and satisfied and secure? What do I need out of my financial stability, out of my finances, to feel happy and secure? What do I need out of my home environment to feel secure and happy? And all of those things are coming together as one to show you a new path, to show you a way that you can become happier within the confinements of your home, of your structure, of your loved ones. So this is a time when you're reevaluating. So do the inner work so that once Mercury goes direct, you can manifest the things that you want. So you can do the inner work by asking yourself things like, what do I want from my home environment that's going to make me feel more secure? What do I need to do in my creative work or in my work in order to feel more financially stable? So all of those questions you can ask yourself in order to move forward, to utilize this energy to move forward, having put behind you things from the past that deal with your happiness, that deal with your love, that deal with your sense of security. Off to the next sign, which is Gemini. Gemini rising and moons, Venus retrogrades really impact you because not Venus, sorry, Mercury retrogrades really impact you because they roll over your first house and your fourth house of home, and it's going to be transiting your third house of courage. So this is a time when you're reevaluating your sense of self and the courage that you have to take action towards your happiness and your home life, or even your mother, relationship with your siblings, relationship with yourself, the relationship that you have to yourself, to your neighborhood, to your friends, to those people around you. It's really going to be impacted. So the whole thing is kind of like a package that's forcing you to revisit and ask yourself, what is it that I need to change about myself? What is it that I need to let go of from the past that's going to change my sense of happiness, that's going to give me more courage moving forward to go after my dreams? So those are some questions that you need to be asking yourself in order to, once Mercury goes direct, you can be able to move forward with a new energy, having let go of the things that have been holding you back in terms of your courage, sense of self, and your happiness in your home environment. Maybe some of you might be wanting to like change your appearance, or just change like where you live, or change the way that you view your sense of self, your happiness, your sense of security, or even like, things from the past with your mom or with your siblings might come up at this time for you to put them past you. Or this could be a time when things within the confinement of your neighborhood, or within that really test your courage, things that really test your courage, your willpower, your happiness. And so they're coming up so that you can have the courage to let them go. And once you let them go, that was a test for you to move, that you're moving forward at a new pace. You're moving forward towards better things. So you're going to really be tested at this time, not only your relationships, but also your courage and your happiness is going to be tested. If you pass the test, then better things are awaiting for you. All right, also the next sign, which is Cancer. Rising in a Cancer moon. So this Mercury retrograde is really Mercury rules over your 12th house of hidden things, inner desires, subconscious mind. rules over your third house of willpower, strength, communication, and then it's transiting and going retrograde in your second house of finances. So this is a time when hidden things, when things from the past or things that were unbeknownst to you or things that were hidden are coming to light, and they're really going to test your willpower. And in terms of your finances, and in terms of your family and your sense of security. So these things are coming to light from the past so that you can now find a way to let them go and find a new path to feel more secure within your own skin, within your sense of self, within your own life. There's a time when maybe you're having really vivid dreams, or or a lot of your fears from the past are resurfacing for you to like let them go, for you to heal them. This is a time when a lot of fears from in your sense of courage and your security and your due to your financial stability, due to your self-concept is going to come up at this time, so that you can acknowledge it. And once you acknowledge it, you can begin the process of letting it go. So a lot of things will be coming up from the past, a lot of things that make you feel insecure, or a lot of things that you're going to have to find a new way to let go, so you can have more courage and feel more secure within your self-concept, within your sense of self, are going to come up. That's going to be inevitable, because for you, Mercury rules your 12th house. This is like hidden things that are coming to light at this time, that you're going to have to use your voice, have to use your sense of communication to like release and let go of. So ask yourself, what is it that's holding me back from becoming more secure in my own skin, more secure within myself, to have more courage to move past these limitations and move forward in life. So once Mercury goes direct, September 16th, you can move forward feeling more secure, feeling more stable, having a stronger sense of security within your family and within yourself, and having the courage to step up for yourself, to put yourself first, to make yourself feel more secure in your own skin. Off to the next sign, which is Leo. New moon. So Mercury rules your 11th house of wishes, hopes, wishes, manifestations, friendships, and your second house of stability, finances, family. And it's transiting, it's going to be retrograde over your first house of self. So this is all about self-expression, how you express yourself through the means of your friendships, through your connections, through your wishes, your sense of security. How are you feeling more? Things from the past are going to come up in terms of your friendships, your love life, your sense of security, your family even. So these things are going to come up so that you can find a way to self-express, to release everything that has been pent up within you, that deals with your self-expression, that deals with your sense of communication, that deals with your sense of self. Because when Mercury goes retrograde in the first house, you need to be very cautious of the words that you use, of how you speak, what you do, because it's transiting over your entire body, your entire life. So this can mean you having to revisit how you view yourself, how the things that you've said in the past that are now coming back, your security from the past, your sense of security, your wishes from the past may be fulfilled at this time, even if it's not really what you want anymore, or maybe no longer what makes you feel secure, or no longer what makes you feel happy within your own skin. Or it could be also the case where paperwork or things that deal with technology, especially technology for the Leo risings every retrograde, goes awry, because 11,000 of technologies, you have Mercury ruling over your 11th and 2nd. So expenses always go up for you because of technology, because of friends, because of friendships, but this time it's going to have to do with your own self-concept. How do you accept these things? How do you let go of things that are no longer serving you, that deal with your sense of security, your friendships, and your manifestations, so that you can move forward after Mercury goes direct on the 16th of September, having had the knowledge and having had the ability to self-express in a way that really honors who you are and really honors what makes you feel secure. If you work in media or if you work in financial institutions, this is especially important for you to like look over all of your work and really be very cautious and be very conscious of what you do and how you express yourself. Off to the next sign, which is Virgo. Okay, so this retrograde, one second. Full moon. So this Mercury retrograde is happening in your 12th house of hidden things, and Mercury rules your first and your 10th house of career. So this is a very important transit for you. Any Mercury retrograde is very, very important for you. It always tends to bring out some kind of revelation, some kind of change, some kind of upgrade, or having to revisit things from the past to then level up. So because Mercury rules over your 10th house of career, this retrograde is going to be bringing up fears and things that you have to let go of that pertain to your legacy and your career, and how you can utilize it to upgrade yourself, your sense of self, your self-esteem, your courage, who you are as a human being. Because Mercury ruling your first house and retrograding in your 12th, it means that a lot of self-esteem issues that pertain to the outside world, that pertain to how you want to be viewed in your career, are going to come up at this time. You're going to be revisiting and thinking about, how is it that I want to be perceived by others? How is it that what legacy do I want to leave behind? And a lot of fears and a lot of things that you didn't see coming are going to resurface at this time, so that you can acknowledge them and let them go. So that after September 16th, once Mercury goes direct, you have the ability to move forward in life, to let go of that cycle. But this Mercury retrograde deals a lot with your mental stability, with your work, with your everyday life, with your sense of being able to have a stable career or a stable sense of everyday routine. So you can feel a little bit sluggish, or you can feel like you're not doing enough, that you need to revisit the way that you maintain yourself mentally and physically in order to have a better outlook in life, in order to have a better legacy. So this is a time when those things are coming up for you, and you're having to revisit them, and you're having to rearrange and redo your routine in some way or another in order to have a better sense of self, because 12th house deals with your subconscious. It deals with your self-concept, your hidden fears. And these hidden fears are pertaining your self-concept, your sense of self, and your career, and how you want to be perceived by the outside world. So work on your inner self, work on those fears that are coming up for you, watch your dreams and let it go. And let it all go. Do the inner work necessary. Secrets can also come to the surface right now as it pertains to career. There might be something that you did in the past in your career that now is resurfacing for you to kind of like acknowledge it. This could be a time when some of you also travel abroad or leave abroad, and you find yourself in the process. You find out what it is that you want out of your legacy, what legacy you want to leave behind. You get some kind of epiphanies while you're traveling. Now we're off to the next sign, which is Libra. The Libra moons. Okay, this retrograde is happening in your 12th house. I mean, it's Mercury rules over your 12th house, and it's happening in your 11th house. Mercury rules your 12th and your 9th house. And the retrograde is going over your 11th house, which means that this retrograde period will be all about uncovering your deep-rooted subconscious belief systems that you have ingrained about your friendships and about your love life. Some kind of old, outdated belief needs to go. If some of you are in school, then maybe this is a time when things from school come up again, or fears around, your career life or your school can come up again, so that you can acknowledge them and let them go. This could also deal with your friends. Old friends can come back into your life, old acquaintances. If you work in media and technology, or if you work in an area that deals with an institution as a whole, then this is a time when you're really having to revisit something that deals with this institution that maybe you were not seeing clearly prior, and how your beliefs around this institution, so that you can acknowledge it and let it go. Maybe your friends are going to help you manifest something from the past into your life. Think about what was going on in your life around January. and first month of June, because that's coming up for you again. Your belief systems are going to change. Your belief systems about your inner self and your friendships and your love life is going to change during this retrograde. Self-expression is going to be really important for you with your friendships and your connections and an institution. So maybe the way that you express yourself at work or your beliefs about something in the past that you did are coming up again now at this time. So you can it can be bothersome to some extent. But at the same time, it's happening for a reason, so you can let it go. Now we're off to the next sign, which is Scorpio. Rising and Scorpio moons. Okay, so this retrograde is happening. Mercury rules over your 11th and your 8th house. And the retrograde is happening in your 10th house of career, legacy, looking at your 4th house of home. So this retrograde period is really going to be impacting your friendships, your relationships, and your resources, and your sense of stability. In terms of your career life and your legacy and your happiness. So your happiness is going to be impacted by how much importance you put to your resources, because something around your resources is really going to come to light, or secrets can come to light at this time that might impact your happiness around your career life or around your friendships, your manifestations, your loved ones. This could be a past lover that comes back into your life, or this could be a time when you finally let go of attachments to friends or to career or to things that are no longer serving you in terms of your career and in terms of your happiness, your home life, your resources. Maybe if you're feeling very insecure about an attachment that you have over a certain job or a certain career or a certain path in life, that's going to come back up. Maybe something from the past around your work environment and around your career is resurfacing now, so that you can let go of the attachment to that thing. Or let go of the attachment to or regenerate, reinvent yourself in terms of your friends, in terms of your love, in terms of your career life. Because if you don't, then, your self-expression at work is really something that's being very magnified. So it's like you're expressing yourself too much or too little, or you feel like you're not being enough expressive, or you feel like you want to be seen more, or you don't want to be seen at all. And something from the past can come back up now in terms of your legacy and your work life, so you can let it go. This could be a wish fulfillment. This could be a friendship at work. This could be something that was bothering you. This could be a legacy, a work path that you had from the past that you need to let go of, a certain way of doing things, or a manifestation that you had about career and happiness and how to get there. That's going to come back up. Maybe something from the past that you had, some kind of manifestation from the past that you have to let go of, because how you're going to get there. You're going to get there. You just have to let go of how you're going to get there. You have to let go of the control of your career. This is a major theme that always happens to you during the retrograde, letting go of something, letting go of control of something. But this time is going to be pertaining your home environment and your career. You're having to let go, and you're having to find a new way, a new manifestation, or a new way of acknowledging this, your legacy and your home and your happiness at home. Off to the next sign, which is Sagittarius. Rising and moons, this Mercury rules over your 7th house of relationships and contracts and your 10th house of career and legacy, and is transiting and is going to be retrograding in your 9th house of belief systems. So there's something around your beliefs and your courage when it comes to your career and your relationships, or even your home life and your happiness, that you're revisiting. Maybe your self-expression and your courage in your career life and in your relationships are clashing. Maybe something from the past might resurface, a past lover or a past career path that you thought you had cut ties with, now resurfaces in order for you to kind of like acknowledge it and realize, what are your beliefs around this thing? Like, are you expressing yourself in a way that's going to magnify or that's serving you, your belief systems around your legacy, around your career, and around your relationships? Is the outside world really that important to you? Is your reputation the most important thing for you, or is your relationship the most important thing for you? Every Mercury Mercury retrograde always impacts your relationships, and it always impacts your legacy and your career. So you're balancing out the two. Do I want to have stability in my career, or do I want to have a happy relationship? What are my beliefs around the two? They're being questioned, and what are you going to go towards as a result? Your beliefs are always a thing that your beliefs systems is something that's coming up for you right now a lot. Like, what is it that I truly want? What is my luck? Where does my path really lie in terms of my career and my marriage or in my relationship? Are they all aligned, or am I separating every aspect of my life? Am I compartmentalizing my happiness and my beliefs in terms of my career and in my relationships in order to have one or the other, or am I integrating all together? Your beliefs are something that you're going to be thinking a lot during this retrograde, and you're going to want to express and let out how your beliefs. So maybe a conversation that you've been wanting to have with somebody might happen at this time. You might have the courage, or you might feel inclined to finally have this conversation with this person that you have been thinking about having for a really long time. Or it could be the case that somebody has a conversation with you that really needed to happen for some time now, or from the past, and now you're finally having it. So now we're off to the next sign, which is Capricorn. Mercury rules over your 9th and 6th house, and the retrograde is happening in your 8th house. There's some kind of letting go of attachments, a transformation that you're undergoing in terms of your work and in terms of your belief system. So your beliefs around work, your beliefs around your routine, you're having to rearrange and let go of an attachment to that. Maybe you're wanting to express yourself and how much you've transformed your sense of security or your family life, and you don't know how to express it. And this retrograde is going to bring up something from the past. It's going to force you to have to express yourself and have to let go of attachments to belief systems that are no longer serving you, and to work environments that are no longer serving you. If you had some kind of issue at work, I would say your routine is really important right now, because it's coming back up. Something around your routine and your everyday life, and what you believe it needs to be a certain way, whatever ties you had to this everyday life, and whatever you believed this everyday life had to be like, now you're having to let go of that. Maybe some of you are being forced to let go of your attachments to a certain rigid routine, or a certain rigid way of doing things, and therefore being more free and more more expressive with your time or with your resources. Think back at what was happening in January, because there's like a little bit of a repeat of that. Maybe you're having to let go of attachments to relationships, let go of attachments to work, to unhealthy people, to belief systems, to certain works or certain types of views that you've had in the past that are no longer serving you, that you've outgrown. Now it's going to be very evident that you need to let go of that. Off to the next sign, which is Aquarius. Aquarius rising and Aquarius moons. Mercury rules over your 8th and 5th house, and it's going to be retrograde in your 7th house. So every retrograde always brings for you some kind of having to transform and having to let go of control in terms of your relationship, in terms of your loved ones, in terms of your sense of creativity and how you express that. But this retrograde is especially having to let go of relationships, toxic relationships, or toxic people around you that are no longer serving you, or something about expressing yourself in your relationships and letting go of control around that, like no longer controlling the way that you self-express towards your relationships. Maybe having a conversation in your relationship that you really needed to have from the past, or maybe revisiting a relationship from the past that you need to let go of control over, of how it's going to happen, how it's going to manifest, how your wish is going to be fulfilled. Maybe old lovers coming back into your life, or maybe you having going back to old lovers in some way or another, or maybe having a situation from the past being revisited and actually doing it right this time. This could be in terms of your partnerships, your contracts. Be careful how you deal with how you navigate your romantic relationships, how you navigate your business relationships, how you navigate your contracts and your your loved ones, because there's that needing to let go of control of your resources, needing to let go of control over your partners, needing to let go of control of your relationships so that beautiful things can manifest in your life. Because the way that you, if you're controlling it too much, the outcome, it won't, the things that you want won't actually happen. Now we're off to the last sign, which is Pisces. Pisces rising and Pisces moon. So Mercury rules your 7th house of relationships and your 4th house of happiness and home, and it's transiting over your 6th house of work, routine, etc. So this Mercury retrograde is going to really impact how you deal with your relationships and your home life on an everyday basis, and your work environment. So there's something when it comes to your relationships and your everyday life that is causing you some kind of unhappiness, or that you're having to revisit from the past. And therefore, this is coming back up so you can have those, so you can take the initiative in your everyday life, in your work environment, in your relationships, and in your home life to find happiness. Like you're rearranging what, or you're wanting to express yourself, and express what makes you happy, express what makes you feel aligned with your work, what makes you feel aligned in your relationships, in your contracts, in your home life. Maybe something from the past, like a contract from the past, might come back up that dealt with your work and everyday life, and you're having to redo that. Or maybe something around your relationships. Every retrograde impacts your relationships, whether that's contract relationships and home life, whether that's your happiness, your mother, or your actual home life, or your contracts within your home, or your relationships within your home. So you're revisiting that, and now it's going to affect you on an everyday basis in your work environment. So if you were not happy with the way that you're handling your work environment, the way that you're handling your routine, now is a time when that's going to come up so that you can acknowledge it. So maybe something around an uncomfortable feeling around your everyday life and your routine due to your relationships and your home and your happiness that you're going to have to revisit and redo. So think about January, what was going on around that time, because you're redoing that. So if that meant, like, maybe for some of you, it meant a new work routine due to a relationship, if you got into a new relationship, or due to your home life, or setting yourself free from the shackles of like the mundane everyday routine life. This could also mean that some of you may be traveling abroad, or this could also mean that some of you may be thinking about new work, or new routines, or new health regimens, or a past relationship may come back into your life, or a past work relationship, or a past work job may resurface now. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Make sure that you guys are letting go of whatever this retrograde period is asking you to let go of. So once September 16 comes back around, you're able to move forward in a new path, having let go of the past cycles. All right, bye.